What if I told you women possess an almost supernatural ability to sense weakness in a man? It's a primal instinct honed over millennia. Before he even speaks, before a single word is uttered, before any grand gestures are made, she already knows. It's not about your watch or your suit. Material possessions are mere distractions, superficial attempts to mask deeper insecurities. It's the subtle, non-verbal cues you broadcast every day, the almost imperceptible signals that betray your true state of mind. Your posture, the way you carry yourself, speaks volumes about your confidence and self-respect. Your voice, its tone, its cadence, reveals your level of certainty and conviction. Your eye contact, the ability to hold someone's gaze, demonstrates your honesty and trustworthiness. These are the real signals of strength or weakness, the authentic indicators of your inner world, far more telling than any carefully constructed facade. Most men are blind to these signals, oblivious to the messages they're constantly sending. But women are evolutionarily wired to detect them instantly. It's a survival mechanism passed down through generations, enabling them to assess potential partners and threats. They're not looking for brute force, for a display of raw physical power, but for internal fortitude, the unwavering resolve that defines a true leader, emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, self-assurance, a quiet confidence in your own abilities, and responsibility, the willingness to take ownership of your actions. Weakness isn't about failing or making mistakes. Everyone stumbles, everyone falters. It's the inability to confront adversity and learn from it, the refusal to grow from your experiences, the obsession with external validation, the constant need for approval from others, a desperate attempt to fill an internal void, and a lack of emotional control, the inability to manage your emotions, leading to impulsive reactions and regrettable outbursts. Today, we're exposing 7 ways women see your weakness, the subtle flaws that undermine your perceived strength. Often before you do. They see the cracks in your armor, the vulnerabilities you try so hard to conceal. Recognize these patterns, acknowledge them, and then actively eliminate them from your behavior. And watch how everyone responds differently to your presence. Witness the transformation as you project an aura of genuine strength and unwavering self-belief. The most obvious sign of weakness, a telltale mark that undermines your presence, is the constant, almost compulsive need for validation. It's a deep-seated craving that can drive your actions and decisions, often without you even realizing it. You see it in the man who constantly checks his phone for likes, each notification a fleeting hit of dopamine, a temporary fix for a deeper void. He changes his opinions to fit in, becoming a chameleon, adapting to the views of those around him, sacrificing his own authenticity for a sense of belonging. He lets a single compliment dictate his mood, soaring with praise and crashing with criticism. His emotional state a roller coaster controlled by external forces. This screams instability and neediness, a desperate plea for acceptance that pushes people away. It's like handing others the keys to your self-worth, giving them the power to define your value and dictate your happiness. You become a puppet, dancing to the tune of their approval. Women sense this instantly. It's not attractive, it's a burden. It signals a lack of self-assuredness, a dependence that can be exhausting and ultimately a turn-off. True strength comes from an internal locus of control, a compass that points true north, guided by your own values and principles. Your validation comes from living by your own standards, setting your own benchmarks for success and fulfillment. It's about measuring yourself against your own potential, not others' opinions. Stop asking the world for permission to be confident. You already have it. Build your own mirror, forged from your values and actions. Reflect on your progress, acknowledge your strengths, and address your weaknesses with honesty and self-compassion. Set your own standards. Define what success means to you, independent of societal pressures or external expectations. Did you do what you said you would? Did you honor your commitments to yourself and others? Did you act with integrity? Did you stay true to your values even when it was difficult? These are the metrics that matter. These are the measures of a life well lived, a character well formed. When you derive validation from within, when you cultivate a sense of self-worth that is independent of external approval, you meet others as an equal, not a beggar. You approach relationships with confidence and authenticity, fostering genuine connections based on mutual respect. Your confidence becomes steady, not desperate. It's a quiet strength that emanates from within, a deep-seated belief in your own worth. That's the kind of strength that's not just seen, but felt. It's a presence that commands respect, an aura of self-assurance that draws people in. The next sign of weakness, a subtle yet pervasive one, is the pathological avoidance of conflict. It's a disease of agreeableness that eats away at your authenticity and, ultimately, your self-respect. This isn't about seeking out arguments, but rather about not shrinking away from necessary disagreements. The man who never disagrees, who always nods along, who never states his opinion, regardless of how strongly he feels, isn't seen as kind or agreeable. He's seen as weak, lacking in substance, and ultimately untrustworthy. People sense the absence of genuine conviction. If you won't stand for anything, if you're constantly shifting your position to appease others, you stand for nothing. You become a blank slate, easily manipulated and ultimately forgettable. This isn't about being combative, about picking fights or being deliberately contrarian. It's about cultivating the inner strength and having the courage to defend your principles, to articulate your values, and to say no when it truly matters, even when it's uncomfortable. Avoiding conflict, constantly seeking to please everyone, signals that you value external approval, the fleeting validation of others, over your own deeply held beliefs and values. Women, with their finely tuned intuition, pick up on this instantly. They are incredibly perceptive. It shows you can't be trusted to lead, to make difficult decisions, or to protect those under your care. It reveals a fundamental lack of inner fortitude. The antidote to this crippling agreeableness? Assertive communication. It's the key to unlocking your authentic voice. State your needs, your opinions, and your boundaries, calmly, clearly, and without apology. Start small. Express your preferences in everyday situations, even if it's just choosing where to eat. Disagree respectfully, even when you feel strongly about something, and learn to tolerate the discomfort that comes with expressing a dissenting opinion. People respect those who have a backbone, who stand for something even if they don't always agree with them. People can respect you, even if they disagree with your point of view. The man who faces necessary conflict, who doesn't shy away from difficult conversations, respects himself, earns the respect of others, and ultimately becomes a more authentic and powerful version of himself. In a chaotic world, be the rock. Be the unwavering force that others can rely on. Stand firm in your convictions, and let your actions be a reflection of your true values. Nothing signals weakness more than a man ruled by his emotions, rage, jealousy, insecurity. Emotional instability creates anxiety and mistrust. People never know which version of you they'll get. Women seek stability, not chaos. Outbursts and insecurity all stem from fear of not being enough, fear of loss. Ironically, giving in to these emotions brings about the very outcomes you fear. The solution: cultivate mindfulness. Create space between stimulus and response. When anger or jealousy rises, pause, breathe. Observe the emotion without acting on it. Practice daily through meditation, journaling, walking away until you're calm. A man who masters his emotions is a force of nature, stable, reliable, and deeply respected. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's true power. Beware the man who talks endlessly about his plans but never acts. Grand declarations without follow-through are a smokescreen for insecurity. Talking about your dreams gives a fleeting sense of accomplishment, but action is what counts. Women and discerning people see through empty words. Talk is cheap, action is rare. The world respects results, not intentions. The strong man moves in silence, letting his actions speak. The prescription? Stop talking, start doing. Pick one small step and execute it today. Build momentum with concrete actions, not fantasies. Each action is a brick in your self-respect. When you finally speak, your words carry weight because they're backed by results. Quiet confidence comes from delivering, not promising. The man who blames others for his failures wears victimhood like a badge, and it's the clearest sign of weakness. Blaming offers temporary relief, but it costs you all power to change your situation. The moment you blame, you declare the solution is outside your control. This is childish. Adults take responsibility, even for things not directly their fault. A partner wants someone who faces chaos and asks, "What can I do about it?" Extreme ownership is the bedrock of strength. You're not at fault for everything, but you are responsible for your response. Next time something goes wrong, ask, what could I have done differently? What can I learn? Owning your mistakes is empowering. It turns errors into growth. The man who takes responsibility is trusted, respected, and always improving. The man who can't say no is not nice. He's a man without boundaries. This stems from fear of disapproval and a scarcity mindset. The more you try to please everyone, the less respect you command. People don't respect a doormat, they use it. Women see that a man who can't protect his own boundaries can't protect hers. Boundaries are acts of self-respect, not aggression. Get clear on your values, then practice saying no to what infringes on them. Expect pushback. Hold the line. Those worth keeping will respect your boundaries. A man who can say a calm, firm no is powerful and commands respect. The deepest weakness is a life without purpose, a man adrift, numbing himself with distractions. Without purpose, you're easily swayed, unreliable, and lost. Women and the world aren't looking for a man who's already achieved greatness, but for one who's striving towards something meaningful. Purpose isn't a goal, it's a direction, a reason to get up in the morning. You find it through action and responsibility, not by thinking. Start with one thing you know you should do, but are avoiding. Pick up a burden and learn to bear it. Improve your finances, fix a relationship, serve your community. In struggle, you find strength and purpose. A man with purpose is disciplined, resilient, and magnetic. Purpose is the antidote to weakness and the source of all strength. Live it fully and your strength will be undeniable. These are the 7 ways women spot weakness often before you do. Seeing these patterns in yourself isn't cause for despair. It's the first step to real strength. This isn't about tricks to get the girl, it's about self-mastery. Build an internal foundation so solid it needs no external approval. Develop emotional control, act with integrity, and find your purpose. Do this, and you'll project power without saying a word. Like, comment, and subscribe to Stoic Guide for more wisdom and strength.